In this session, we will know how to add new tests and update their reference ranges, units, etc. in LabMaster. All this is managed in Testlibrary. Click on Testlibrary. Now choose the relative department. Let's say laboratory. Choose it lab. Now you can see on the left side all the test head and on the right side the corresponding test. For example, if you click on hematology, you can see the all the tests contained in the hematology. First, let us create a new test head. Click on add new test head. Now let's say it's kidney function test. We can type the code kidney function test. Now we'll have a detailed discussion about the parameters. Number of lines means when test will going to print, how much space will be between the two tests. Similarly, remarks, you can type the remarks. The main thing is that if this test had contain unit, reference range, test name and result, head name, or is it a culture type of test. On the behavior you define here, it will do the same during the printing. Let me show you what is this. Let me first save this test head. Press OK. Now you can refresh it and you can see a new kidney function test is at number 25. Now you can add new test to it. When we will print the report, of biochemistry test, you can see this test name, result, units and normal range depends on the parameter we choose here. If we remove this, the head name will not be printed there. Thanks. You can change any existing head by just double click on the head name and you can change it. You can remove the units if not required, you can unit the reference range if not required, and the software will behave accordingly. Now we will see how we can add new test to a existing head. Let's choose biochemistry. You can see here biochemistry. Now if we click add new test, the test will be added under biochemistry. You can also note the serial number here 1, 2, 3, 4. So you want to position the test. Suppose you want to add the test before bilirubin. Click on bilirubin and click add new test. It will ask add before LT. LT is the code of the bilirubin. You can say yes. Now complete window is there. Define a new test. Let's say the code of test is MY. Test name is, just for example, my test. Charges is, let's say, 100. Lower bound is, let's say, 70, 60, and upper bound is 100. You can also define the sex and age wise. You can click advance. You can see first section is for the kids, infants in fact, where age is less than 1 year or in months. Now you can say in my test, if age is less than 6 months, then lower bound will be, let's say, 90 and upper bound will be 120, and this row is for the male, and for female, let's say, is 95 to 125. So if the child is girl, his reference range for my test will be 95 to 125, and if it's boy child, this is the reference range. Now this area is for the adults. Let's say if the age is less than 18, a child, now then the lower bound is, let's say, 75 to 100, and if age is less than 18 and it's girl, then let's say reference age is 80 to 110. Similarly, now if age is um, less than 40, reference, you can define the lower bound, upper bound. So you can define the reference range, age and sex wise up to 5 level. Press F5 when you're done. And otherwise, the standard reference range is 60 to 100. Now the report collection days, how much time it will take to perform the test. Now select day if this test is available on, let's say, 2 days only, depending on the machine and your policies. Remarks, any short name for my test if you want to search fast. You can define the method, which kit or by which method you are performing the test. Let's say kit 1. Now type of test, we have a 5 parameter. How will you report the result? First is normal, means you will write a some text to it. Then subheading means you will, sorry, subheading means you will, this will only is the heading of the group of tests and it's not actual the test. Paragraph means you like to enter in a paragraph. I will show you. Table means this test will need a table. I will show you. And date means this test will be asked in a date and time. Now image means that you have to attach the image with this test. Now I will come to that in detail. Now group under, just press any, just click here or press any ABCD. You can group this test under any other test. Let's say I don't want, I want to group itself only. Try my. I made it blank because I don't want to group this test. Now unit. What is the unit of the test? Let's say mg per dl. Now range is strict range. Let's say it's a 20 to 800. Now our lab master will not accept beyond this range. Formula I will show you later. You can, if this test is calculated by the other test values, you can choose this formula option. Now default values, for example, if this test load, you want to some value to be printed, let's say my value. Now conditions means if what condition this test should satisfy, I will come to later. Any command, search parameters or pre-samples. Then you can type the interpretation. Interpretation means this interpretation will be printed with the test. Let's say detail description of my test 1 2. Let's say this is some description. Save OK. Now define table. If I choose the table, then I should use this option. Now options. Now what are the options? Let's say value 1, press F8, value 2. So user will pop up with these values, hide, and precautions. If this test have some precautions you can write there. So during the time of booking, it will be shown to the operator. Now you can see this test in biochemistry before. Let me click refresh. You can see this test before bilirubin. Now you can see this test is added. How? Now let's see how this test, my test, will behave with different parameters. Let's choose the biochemistry, and this is my test. Now let's do some billing quickly. Now accept test. Let me add new test. Test case. Now let me choose. It will show the window. Let me choose lab. Let me choose biochemistry, my test. I'm choosing this only. Okay. Now it's showing 100 rupees what we have defined. Now click on test. Now you can see it's showing the combo. My value, value 1, what we have defined. Let's change the definition and see again. Now double click here and let's choose default value is my value. That's why the value appears. And in options we have save with value 1. So it's showing that window. Now remove this option by pressing F6. Yes, hide. Now let me make this test from normal to paragraph. Save. Now if I come again, now you can see the edit button instead of the combo. You can click here and you can write, my value is still there. You can write as much as you want. One line, second line, third line. That means this test is now accepting the paragraph. You can save it and you can preview it. Save and preview. Now you can see that my test what I have written, and this is, you remember, interpretation part. I show you again. You can again see that interpretation here. It will automatically printed whenever my test is selected. Now let us change from paragraph to subheading. Now see what happens. Now click test. You can see it is showing as subheading only and it is not accepting any value. Now let us choose again my test and make it as table. Now for the table you have to define the parameters of the table. That now this is the table. By default my value is showing that you want row 1, row 2 and column 1 and column 2. Now let me save it. Now when I choose this, it's showing me table and I can write the values. Let's say positive. This is used in the Vidal case. Positive, negative, or whatever value if you want, and you can also write the comments. Normal. Saved. Now I just show you the example of table is the Vidal test. You can see these are the parameters and you have to report positive, positive, negative in Vidal test. So that's how the Vidal is by default created in our system. If you want a new test, you can create a table type of test also. Let me change my test to the another option, date. Now you can see is the date column in my test, and you can type the date. Similarly, you can choose the time and image. Let's choose image. Time is similar to the date. Now if I see, now you can see the image. You can click here and choose any image. It will show you to browse the image. Let me click on image and choose any image from my system. Now you can see it will keep this reference of the image with this test and print accordingly. Now we can see the various other features. Let's choose this serum bilirubin indirect. Just double click it. Now you can see in the formula it's LT minus 120. These are nothing but the test codes. You can see here for formula. For making formula you can use like this. So what is LT, and curly brackets LT minus 120. Now LT is serum bilirubin total and 120 is serum bilirubin indirect. So whenever we come on this test, it automatically calculate from the total minus direct. Let's see. Further, we are looking for the subgrouping. You can see few tests are blue. This blue means that these tests are marked under DLC. So how to define that? Suppose we open this polymorph. Now this is group under DLC. Any other test you can see it's group under itself, that they are separate test. HB is group under HB. In this case, these four tests are group under DLC. You can see this. So now these tests will be booked once the DLC is booked. These tests cannot be booked as individual. Now let us come to basophils. In basophils, we have used one more options for conditions. You can apply a condition to any test that poly, this is code. Remember everything, every formula will run on code. Plus underscore 187 plus 188, 189 plus 190. If we move further, is equal to 100. You can see here how we put the condition. So whenever the cursors, this is poly plus 187, 188, 189 comes to 190, it will check that condition. I will demonstrate you that if it is more than 100, it will not accept. Let me book DLC. Now choose hematology. Sorry, it's under it's hematology. Choose hematology. You can see only DLC is shown. All the subtests are not shown. Just choose the DLC. Now if we use test, let's say DLC is 70. You can see all tests automatically appear, and DLC you can see is a subheading. Another example of subheading. Let's say it's 26. It's 5, 2, and it's 1. Now it's automatically showing -3, which is not possible because let's say if we put it 1, the value match 104, so it should be 100. So it would only accept, let's say it will not accept anyway. Now let's say 23, 22. Now 24 plus 25, 29 and 70, 99, 1. Now it will accept. So in this way the condition works. Now for few more features, suppose you want that this urea should be printed before albumin, before protein, you can rearrange. For rearranging, press F9. You can press F7 also. You can see this cursors appear. Now you can move urea to the position, or you can move down. Now it will save. You can move urea like this. Now then now you can. So the urea is now below this. You can further move this down. You can move this down. So this is how we can realign the test. You can delete the test also. Suppose you want to delete this total protein, just press delete here. You will want to delete 124, yes. So this is how we can delete the test. If you want to see the main group, you can see the yes. It will always show the main group. The subgroup will not be shown. This is the brief about this test library. I hope you will create your own test and change any test now. Thanks.